Now, in a way, this problem exists for all abstractions, from any area or subject matter, whether philosophy or not. You know from the objectivist epistemology that abstractions are symbols, shorthand symbols. They're integrations of concretes to enable us to deal with countless instances by a single word, held in a single frame of consciousness. And as such, abstractions, by their nature, are a step removed from reality. And you know, there's a whole series of levels that get farther and farther removed. There's actual trucks that you can point to. Then there's the concept truck, which is a unit in your mind which you have to think, what does it stand for, to connect it to reality. And then there's vehicle, which is still broader and includes trucks and cars and boats, etc., and another step removed, and so on, so on, so. And you know, there's all sorts of devices and methods that are inherent in concepts and necessary to keep them connected to reality, such as giving examples, for instance, offering definitions, for instance, and a lot more. So the problem of understanding abstractions, keeping them tied to reality, exists on all abstractions. But the point I want to make now is it is hardest and worst in regard to philosophy. The problem is worst in regard to philosophy. Who can say why in one sentence? Yes. Did you point that at him? He says, I'm not supposed to repeat, but here I'm repeating. Correct, he said correctly. Philosophy deals with the broadest abstractions. It's the most universal. You could look at it this way. Philosophy is at once the easiest and the hardest subject there is. That's it. Yeah. That's class participation until after the break. It's the hardest and easiest subject that there is for the same reason. But there's two different angles on that reason. The reason is it's the most universal. Therefore, in one way, it's the easiest. You don't need any specialized knowledge. It deals only with issues available at all times, in all places, to all professions. To engage in philosophy, you don't need to know science, engineering, medicine, no specialized knowledge. You just have to look at the world and grasp what's available in every age to every man. And in that way, it's the easiest. But in another sense, it's the hardest, because it is tremendously abstract. Here, your symbols, your words, are covering not just trucks, but existence, the totality. Not just a toothache, say, but consciousness. Not just going to a movie, but freedom or happiness or whatever. These types of concepts, existence, consciousness, freedom, etc., have so many concretes of such a bewildering variety in so many different contexts and applications. And yet in philosophy, somehow, we have to hold these wealth of concretes together, disregard all these concrete differences, and move in a continual realm of tremendous abstraction. And most people simply cannot do it. In other words, they can grasp the ideas, but only by cutting loose from reality, only by forgetting about trucks, toothaches, movies, etc., and functioning in a world made only of words, of abstractions. In other words, they don't know how to keep this level of abstraction connected to daily life, to actual reality, the reality they live in, work with, perceive. So for them, whatever their intentions, philosophy ends up like church on Sunday. It's something dissociated from life. It's a special occasional ritual. They may be sincere, but they can't keep it real. That's what it comes down to. Now you see here the deeper reason, an epistemological reason, why philosophy is so widely scorned. It's not only because of the wrong ideas of philosophy that people have. It's the very nature of abstractions, of the difficulty that abstractions present to us. And that difficulty comes out worst in regard to philosophy. Now, to carry this a step further, if philosophy is the easiest yet the